and I would like to announce that voter station meeting necessary this month. So we'll set that aside. We'll move right into the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority Board meeting Thursday, December 16th, 2010 at 4 o'clock, right on the time. Steve's late. Call the meeting to order. And letters of communications.
There's just a couple of general communications. You had something from the Tax Secretary general letter. Also, put a suggestion of Word program that started with the first copy of some information regarding Breckenridge. A nice letter from the City of Ogdensburg reaching out to the Division of Fall for efforts to revitalize the city and various articles that have been.
Okay. With that, we're going to approve of the minutes. Motion made by Mary, seconded.
I don't have it.
Okay. Okay, so comments and presentations by citizens. Board of the staff. We want to go through the staff reports, not quick but fast. All starting to dribble. We're practicing right now.
Just a very couple key high-level points. Talk to the Department of Homeland Security. They're interested in us. You can see why they're open discussions with private companies regarding fiber optic connection across the bridge, and that was facilitated through Gillibrand's office. Senator Gillibrand's office, sorry. We're waiting GSA response on the border station issue that we talked about. We're progressing the Port Access Road project, negotiated a grading release, and are currently working with New York State TF master agreement. I hope to have that report at the next. We have a request pending from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers on the Section 107 harbor study. Get that data back. Do that good next 2 weeks. Requested a locomotive inspection from New York State DOT. The inspection was completed last week. I have found that one of our engines is completely out of service. The other is not used due to derailment issues. The full report will be forthcoming. Several outside council meetings during the month, and I want to report on that in January time frame.
Any questions? Board members? Okay. Chief Financial Officer. Department.
Yep. I know that. I know.
Any other questions? John Reich? Anything else? Any questions of John?
These things turning, John? Oh, great. There must be something within our system we can do to enhance that. There's no way we're here and waiting. Okay.
Yes, because it'll cause power. That's what he's looking at. Yeah. One of the things I'd like to touch on in John's report and Wade's report on the trade mission thing. It's an experience for me, after 45 years, to find out that their major problems is the agreements that they have with the longshoremen in the United States, and of course the Canadian organization in Canada. And it was an experience to find out that we only got one ship in the Great Lakes with a flag of the United States of America. I had opportunities to meet with some interesting people that are Americans, but they do most of their business in Canada as far as shipping goes. And there's a lot of changes. And one of the things that was brought up at our last night at the meeting was some issues that I thought myself was not the proper place to be discussed, and I think John felt the same way because he got up and spoke on it. But it seems to be what they call the Jones Act. There's a major problem of transportation on the St. Lawrence Seaway. Well, I try to explain to some of the folks that's a federal act. There's not much you can do about it. It's not like some of the people say it is. I mean, they all call it it's a Union Act. It's not. It was an act that was put in place back in the early 1900s. And it's been there and it's still there. And has it been changed? I have no knowledge of it being changed. But people should realize that a group of us can complain and think that's the problem with the shipping in the United States. But in essence, the problems that they got with it just should be addressing that to our senators and our congressmen on the federal level. Because there's not much we can do about it. Really, there's not much we can do about it. And I said the way that I was going to try to set a meeting up, maybe with the international rep, to see if there's anything where we should be looking at change in the Jones Act to get more people under our flag. But I can tell you right now, from what I could see there's nobody interested in flying an American flag on their ship on the Great Lakes. I mean, that's my opinion. And the other thing is I want to let you board members know that I believe it was John that set it up, but I know Wade would do it to me. But I had a 23-and-a-half-hour day on that Thursday, and it was quite a day of traveling in the air and traveling in cars and doing one thing. And I learned something from I think it was, where was I? Italy? Where were we at that time? Ireland. Yeah, that's how cool it is. I got mixed up. I didn't know where I was at. But we did go to Belfast, and we have a customer over there that we've been dealing with. John has been dealing with, Wade's been dealing with, and we've been shipping grain with. And it was an experience in ourselves to go into to see how they do their warehouses and how they store grain and corn and everything. It was really education. And I have to say that this gentleman now works for the corporation, but we left there with some tips. Some people in Ottawa that's going to be dealing in some of this stuff, and he give John those tips, and he's going to help us as much as he can, and if he ever gets back into the business over here, he'll surely do business with us. See, they're inside of their warehouse. Oh yeah, all over the place.
Larger, more expensive.
One other thing you don't see in their warehouses, there's not one sparrow. Not allowed. And it was really interesting. It was educational to me to see that. But that was some of the areas that we talked about it in the trade mission. It was a nice trade mission, and it was connected to us. And that's they're growing over there. They're putting things in to make themselves grow.
You heard about back there at Ogdensburg.
Yeah.
Major reason why some equipment couldn't qualify under the Jones Act. Apparently, there's a waiver process. You have to ask for it. I don't understand why the waiver asked for it, but apparently.
Let me just add something, if I may, to see the trade mission. Again, I've got a report that was going to do an executive session, but we out here and give you an idea of what types of things that we did. We met with a customer talking about burning biomass in Europe. We met with another firm that had a link to a plant that is a little over 2 hours away from us in Quebec, which is a major temp customer. Met with a shipping line. We met with another shipping line that deals with small vessels from the Netherlands. Facility transport companies, a wheat marketer, ship owner, wind turbine importers. Had an interest in the FTZ. Contacts that we've referred directly to a biomass producer is done. Another ship owner, chartering service. There happened to be a bridge conference going on at one of the hotels that we were staying at. I found a company by the name of Trevi Foundation Specialists that specialize in Foundation and diagnosis and repair. I got the best contact from that as well. Met with several port officials over there, including the Port of Rotterdam External Relations Officer and representative to the board. Primary job is increasing trade with Great Lakes. Got some people from the U.S. We got some people from feeder lines. Got a lead on a firm that is in the lake that is a steel manufacturer. Talked to one of the other large shipping companies. We talked to the Canadian, Belgium, Luxembourg Chamber of Commerce to find a lot of there. That was Port of Antwerp officials. A couple of things I can't mention. That was ocean. Best way to phrase it is ocean-going lines. In other words, folks who view the Great Lakes as a niche market. A very interesting conversation. In addition, talked with our Canadian counterparts as well that they're up the further downstream here. So I'll talk about additional opportunities. There's much more than that, but unfortunately we're in open session on behalf of that privately. It was very, very worthwhile trip. We have also met with a shipper and have a promising lead for a large rope project that we were not aware of prior to the trip.
Yeah, good. Good. Thanks for the report, Wade. I'm sorry I jumped ahead of you. Okay, Steve, what do you need, a truck? Go ahead. How about a loader? Okay.
Amazing is the vista you get after you find the customs, and all of a sudden you go to the boat and it's really good. See the bridge, it's really really.
You tell me something. Who, if you know, on the bridge project on the new guardrail, who installed that? Who did they use to install it? The ironworkers? The iron workers did the guardrails on the bridge?
Yeah.
I see it. It's a beautiful job. There's no doubt about it. Oh. Still moves a little bit, but that's the way it is. I'm going too fast, maybe. Any questions of Steve? Okay. I guess we go into the committee. Okay, personnel committee, yeah. Okay. How about the personnel committee?
We met on December 13th, and what we discussed there is the information on insurance and also a personnel issue that discussed later.
Okay. And the facilities committee. Okay. Board and unfinished business.
There's just one item for unfinished business. That's New York State Administrative Services.
Coming back. Okay. Real. Okay. All right. New York State District Serving. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, just same comments as before. It's out there. A request is outstanding.
Okay. Events and activities. Okay. Can't. I'm booked right up tonight. And the next meeting is January 18th.
Here's the,
That is Tuesday.
could we move that to next day, Wednesday?
I don't know, because I'll tell you, we had an awful problem with this last one we moved. I got a couple board members upset that called me and told me about this and that. And I said, you know. So, Sam, you're asking for January 19th. Now, let me ask you a question. What about an earlier time of the day? Is that better for everybody?
Earlier date? The 18th.
No, but I'm just wondering. 17th. Maybe it's something we'll look at down the road. 19th? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Just got to think at 4 o'clock.
Same schedule, but we'll go to the 19th.
Is 3 o'clock better for everybody?
Well, you got
Wintertime hours, daylight.
Well, the thing is, we got a 1 o'clock start usually anyways on these committees and everything else. We'll leave it like it is.
Okay. All right.
We can start at 3 o'clock. We'll start at 3.
Okay. That's how that's played in.
I would get the board members here and use the whole day if we could. At the end of the day, ain't got to monkey around, they do. So, that's true. We're all set there. Business items, Wade.
Mr. Chairman, a couple of items here tonight that I'd like to bring your attention to. Item E1 and make a recommendation to get out of order. Post that after this evening. There'll be a need to go into executive. E1 after.
Do we have a motion for that? Okay, let's go.
I'll point that out.
You're up.
Item A1 to approve the audit committee charter as prepared and presented by the audit committee.
Ready. Go. More. Any questions? Being none, a motion's in order to accept the new procedure. Made by Mary, do we have a second? Okay, one seconds it. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Ordered. There you go, Mark. Next, John. Yeah, we are. Yeah. I got L-A-T-E.
Item A2 is approval of the 2011-2012 fiscal budget. Expense level as part of the shop today.
We have a second?
A second.
Okay, seconded by Sam. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Scored.
Item A3 is a lease agreement with the Ogdensburg Chamber of Commerce. This is for space at 1,054 square feet. First floor bridge administration building for its dock freshman space. The term will be January 1st, 2011 to December 31st, 2011, at $3.45 per square foot. There is an option to renew for 2 consecutive year terms, and security deposit is required as per policy. There is one thing I would like to specifically highlight this lease that's different from other leases that you can typically see for you, and that's the proof of appropriate insurance. Typically, the insurance levels that the authority requires is a $1 million, $3 million policy. The Chamber of Commerce has a $1 million, $2 million effect, and has made a request for us to honor that too. Rather than waive it down, I felt this is a new lease agreement. It's appropriate to have that right up front.
You could have some change that. Why?
My knowledge.
I know it did.
You want to? Oh, no, not at all. Oh, it's term. Did I have an escalator in it? Yes.
We're on the board. We're on the board, President. Well, I would just abstain anyway, putting on it for this year then. Any more questions? We'll add the comments, the utility stuff that Mary wants added, and guys, you really have a second to that. Seconded by Sam. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? So ordered.
We don't see.
Got it?
Next item is approval of lease agreement. Item 8.4 with Brixton International. Again, this is in the Bridge Administration Building. Terms and rates you see before you. Does include cost of utility. Yes. Well,
Right? With all of that changes, do we have a motion to approve? Sam makes the motion. Don seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye. I see you shaking your head.
item B1 is approval of surplus property. Sale of surplus property for some front-end loader that was today.
Questions? Steve, you did an excellent job on this. Keep the good work up. I have a motion to approve this. Don moves it. Mary seconds it. Signature by saying aye. So rusty.
Item B2 is approved silo bunkers purchase. This is for building E6 at the Port building for the budget, $34,075.
Those remarks, I have a motion to approve.
Cash discount. Those are some, I mean, no, business.
All in favor? I did to me.
I'll do it. Okay.
I thought Sam seconded. No, you did. You stabbed yourself.
Stab yourself this way.
All right, now you stabbed yourself. All in favor, signify saying aye. Hang on, here we go.
All right, moving right along to Ogdensburg. E3 is the approval of implement storage agreement with Richie Seed at the rates and conditions that you see.
Okay, motion made and seconded by Marion. Mona, all in favor, signify saying aye. Okay, here we go with the fence guy.
Item C1 is change order with fence at the Ogdensburg National Airport. This is for fencing around the wetland and also approval of a circuit television system for the ARC-built monitoring gate farm. Change increases the total contract by $27,514.89.
So that brings it to a grand total of $517,000, right?
Yes.
And we've got, for this project, we have a grant of $736,000.
Yes, that's correct.
So where's the remainder of that money now?
We have some requests pending to additional amount of approval.
So we still have more money to spend on that there. My second question is now that you're extending the fence into the wet area, is that to secure it where we can't have anybody go in there, the ducks, the birds? What's the deal there? I thought at that time they discussed that they wouldn't have to go out there with weights because they were just going to slip pipe over the top and raise it. Is it another area?
You're referring to is a different area than what's here. This area was a place that you could not set.
Put up the new fence, we've chased out the hunters.
Yeah.
I see. The ducks could still come in. Okay. I gotta talk about this fencing, you know what I mean?
Who love this fence?
Yeah, this is. I'm still looking for fence. You know, I've indicated to the board members right along, I'd like to see fence on the other side of 68 on that top of that hill. Because today, if that fence was put on there, the deer will come and go along the ends, which the car will have more visual to see a deer. Whereas if you come up over that hill, there's no way you can see. And that's where, by us cutting the brush, we'll know pretty well. There hasn't been an accident there in a long time. There hasn't. And it's because we've kept the brush down. You know. Anyways, Mary made the motion. Dan made the motion. Don seconded it. All in favor, signal by saying aye. I hope we don't get a no. I don't know if we'll be able to handle it.
Item C2 is for Ogdensburg International Airport. This is a supplemental agreement with Cape Air. As you know, USDOT has not yet made the decision, but our lease agreement for their expired here a while ago. So what this would do is set a lease agreement period January 1st through March 31st, 2011, at the rates and conditions you see before you. Yeah.
Any more questions? Motion's in order. Done. Have a second? Sam? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
P1, I'd like to skip over the time being.
Okay.
This is approval of sub number 8, PSA, for Social Security Administration. This extends the lease date from October 18, 2005 through January 31st, 2011. Yeah.
Okay, motion by Mary, second by Sam. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Let's skip over to E3, please. This is approval of transfer and storage agreement. Frank Richard. Key hangar space at the airport. Rate of $185 per month. Term January 1st through December 31st, 2011.
Any questions? Helicopter in there? Motion to approve this. We have a second. Second by Dan. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Item E4 on page 35 is approval of a industrial building lease now in Vanguard. I'm pleased to report that this lease will fill the new building that we constructed a little over about 2 years ago. For building 14, rates, terms that you see for 15,475 square feet of space. Yes, 2 different locations with this and expand. That gave the authority is $1,000. In addition, this will allow us to take advantage of efficiencies due to land of the building. And as a result, we will have some lower space available, really works out for all.
Does this create any more jobs? Okay, thank you. Motion in order. Secondly by all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Item E5 on page 36 is approval of a contract, top in shape, outside auditors for three-year term at $23,100.
Put down motions in order to approve. I'll make the motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Next item up would be E7, appointment of warehouseman. As you know, the current full-time warehouseman will occur as of December 31st of this year and created a vacancy. We're informed that the ILA has recommended appointment of back fill this vacancy. Mr. Belbach, the rate, as you can see there, the appointment will be effective January 1st. This individual working 8 hours a day, and the purpose of this resolution would make this individual would basically allow this individual to take management benefits that are associated with the full-time warehouse position.
Individual. I just want to know the working schedule of people position. In other words, that person really needed now. Much as we could really do without that person, or hire somebody to March. Yeah, thank you.
I just wanted to know, I'd like to know one thing. When did you just make this determination? It never come to the personnel.
Royal made the call this afternoon. Meeting. Take the call. Probably for 3 o'clock budget.
I think I'm fine.
Well, you saw me.
Well, because there's some discussion here that I wanted to discuss and get this resolution out. I'm not sure that it should first come before the personnel committee discussion. So, I'd really like to see this motion tabled. I think it's been followed up. Personnel committee had no time to interview whatever. I think that there's been other discussion about how we're going to work down at the board in regards to longshoremen. And this resolution tells me, because the union guy called you up and told you to fill the position, you're going to fill the position. That is not business.
Oh, no, there's a misconception there, Fred.
What you just said.
The contract stipulates with the longshoremen that we do have one time warehouse.
Doesn't say we have to fill it. Because we have to have a full-time
First
person.
happens December 3rd.
You want to remember, you know?
I suppose we could work it right into executive session. See, got a couple other items.
That's a good place for it. That motion can get tabled then. What's next?
Item D1. Item D1, page 22, with a lease termination agreement on Building 11 and the acquisition of Building 1, the former Mytelful Dinner Park. As you know, we have a lease agreement that has another 5 years on it with Breckenridge. Breckenridge has discontinued operations in the park. We felt it appropriate to try and get these buildings back on the market and generate jobs as soon as possible. So we reached out and negotiated a deal with SCI Brockville Corp., the successor to Breckenridge, for the 11th industrial building lease termination and acquisition of the first industrial building. In a nutshell, the first industrial building would be transferred to us at a recognized value of $750,000. And to terminate the lease for the 11th industrial building, that would be a one-time payment of $640,000. That's made up of $593 cash and a $47,000 security deposit that's on file. So, termination lease surrender of the property, if approved, would be effective on or about January 31st, 2011.
I just got a couple myself. I went through this and I looked at it. Frank, have you reviewed this?
Yeah, I actually reviewed it. There's a different one that I reviewed. Latest meeting correction.
Of the U.S.
Yeah, they were all minor.
Is there any way, Frank, I just want to ask, are we going it might be a question for executive session. I'm lost here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, change it back again. Back.
I know. Right. I'm going right. Right, we're going, I think that we need a couple seconds of executive session on this. Or I can discuss what I want to discuss. Okay? Can I get a motion for executive session for a minute on this particular issue?
Oh, I'll make a motion.
Okay. Motion made by Don, seconded by Sam. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Reason for executive session on the SCI Brockville is contract negotiations.
Right.
In addition, there are, I presume, Mr. Chairman, that we would also want to discuss the personnel issue in the executive session as well as the negotiation issue.
That's fine. That's fine. So we need a motion. Okay.
And just so we're clear, you're going to just talk about this and then make a decision on D1 and then have another.
We're going to run it all in one. So we can get it done.
Wait, is there any way I can get a copy from me outside real quick, sir, that I can get it? Is there any way before you...
We're going to read in the executive session.
No, we're going to...
Motion been made. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Okay, everybody else can leave. Executive session. approve. A motion to go back in. Yes, Mary made the motion to go back in the regular session. I'm seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? None? You have the resolution there, sir?
Absolutely. Agenda item D1 is approval of an agreement for termination of lease. This agreement is been negotiated with SCI Rockville Corporation, the successor in interest to Breckenridge, the tenant of the 11th Industrial Building and the Industrial. This agreement provides for the transfer of ownership to the authority of the first industrial building at a recognized value of $750,000 and terminates the remainder of the lease with SCI out of $640,000, which is made up of a cash payment of $593,000 and the security deposit of $47,000.
Any questions? None being there, we need the motion to approve that. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. I would like to, just for the record, to state that in executive session on this particular lease agreement, that legal questions were answered and everything in the lease agreement seems to be in order. So, I'd just like to make sure. Okay, we have another resolution.
Yes, agenda item E6, such other matters. This approved contract with Penske Incorporated. This cleaning and service for the authority's CFO position. It was discussed at the Personnel Committee at the December 13th meeting. Discussed in executive session this evening as a personnel matter, and it's felt that the best option to recruit new authority CFO is to contract for CFO recruiting services and screening services with Penske Incorporated at a total cost not to exceed $9,500.
Second. Seconded by Don. All in favor, so don't say aye.
We're going to discuss it.
Oh, sure.
I think, I'm sorry, the public is aware of that $9,500 service that we provide is to find the best candidate possible. It's really a worthwhile investment. Should be noted.
And the other thing that Sam has talked about, and we've all talked about it, this is still going to be hired. This person that he canvasses for will be hired by the full board and interviewed by the full board, but they're going to eliminate, get it down to 3 or whatever number it is. So, okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Order. Okay. All opposed.
Your last vote.
I can't believe that. What else?
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Did you put the contract for the 3 years with our auditor?
Yes.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
December 31st, I'm not going to be.
Okay. To show that Mary turned in her husband's bridge pass and along with her own.
Perhaps the bridge and portatory.
I think it's over. I don't think it's over. I don't think it is. But you still have to worry. I don't think so.
Okay. All in favor of adjournment? Motion by Don Hooper, seconded by Ramon. All in favor, signify by saying aye. You're out of order, Sam. I want Mary to. What do you like, Apple? Mary, the last thing, be a no vote.